Hello everyone. In this training video, we'll see how to create a specimen catalog. Specimen catalog allows researchers or public to request for a certain samples by adding different filters according to their research. Open Specimen supports creating multiple catalogs. Catalogs can be private, which can be used only by logged in users of the Open Specimen, or it can be public as well, which can be used by any researcher who has the URL of that catalog. You can attach a catalog at the specific protocol level or at the system level as well. So now let's see who can create a catalog. So whoever has access to a catalog resource along with the super admin and institute admins, they can create a catalog. So under the roles, there is a resource called as catalog. Let me just show you. So under here, you can see the catalog resource. So if the person has a create access, they can create a catalog. Okay. Now, let's see how to create any specimen catalog. Right now, I have logged in as a super admin. I can see different cards on this page. So let's navigate to the catalog card. On the catalog card, you see option of a create. You can see different catalogs are already created on the demo site. So when you start creating a catalog, you can see there are several fields on this page. We will go one by one. So title is the display title of the catalog. So I'll put it as a specimen catalog. Okay. Description will be the description of the catalog. It will be displayed on the catalog page. This is the specimen catalog used for breast cancer study. Okay. So this is title and description. So going back, there are some fields using which, such as display, using which you can control the view of any person for that catalog. So here if you see, display has four options for you: dashboard, catalog, review card, and request form. You can select or uncheck these boxes based on the requirement. So as the name suggests, dashboard is nothing but if you select the dashboard, your catalog will display a dashboard on it. If you deselect it, it won't display a dashboard. When we go to the catalog result view, we will show you how it looks with the dashboard on. Now catalog, if you deselect the catalog, obviously the review card option unchecks automatically. And as you can see, the other fields also disappear from this page. So if I select a catalog, there are certain fields that do appear on this page, like search result columns. So if I deselect it, the fields are disappeared from this page. Again, this is useful when you want to give a certain access to a researcher. If you just want to show them a catalog and give an idea of the specimens that you have in your inventory, or if you don't want to show dashboard and let them just see the catalog and add specimens and then submit a request. Based on that, you can configure these fields. You can also configure just a request form in case you want to give them access to put any query in general query to regarding open specimen. So as of now, I'll be keeping all options checked to show how it looks on the catalog overview page. Okay. Next up is a catalog display query. Okay, so in the search query, you can select a query which will be a result view of the catalog. So to create a catalog, first you will need to create a query. So I have already created a query. So let me just select this specimen catalog query. Okay. So once I select this query, this will be the same query which will appear on the catalog overview page, like result view page. Let me navigate to the queries and show you how that query looks like. So specimen catalog it is. Okay. So now if I, okay, what happened? Okay. So here if you can see, there are different filters added in this query. A protocol is selected. You can add filters based on the biobank requirement. Here I have participant gender, vital status, race, and some filters which are required, as the available quantity should not be 0, or the sample should not be closed, or the sample should not be in distributed state. So based on that, or the sample should be collected already. So based on that, you can add a different filters. You can select different fields from here and add those filters. So you can see there is a small parameterized filter for all the selected fields here, which is nothing but you check the parameterized filter option. This allows you to select multiple options for a field. For example, let me just view this. So you can see vital status. If I click on it, it gives me multiple options, what type of results I want to see, whether a live patient, dead patient. Now this result view will be your catalog result view. So whatever fields that you add in here, those will be shown on the catalog overview page. Okay, these fields can be configured via the columns over here. So you can see, just select and deselect the fields and mark as done. So I have right now added the specimen label, barcode type, and couple of custom field as well on the right hand side, you can see. Okay. Now let's go back. Now that we are ready with the search query, let's see how to configure default columns. Now if you're coming back to this query, you can see you'll need to scroll to the right and left to see all columns. It is a little bit of overcrowding on the page. To avoid that, what you can do is you can set a default columns. Every researcher or every person who is going to access the catalog can see these fields, and if they want to add any new fields on the page, they can add it on the result view itself. So let me just add a specimen label. Okay, and next field I'll add as a type, and couple of more fields I'll add to show it as a default. Okay, let me just add anatomic site, pathology status, and identifier. Identifier is a mandatory field you should add in the search query. Unless and until you add the identifier, the specimens labels won't be shown as a single row in this search query. So ensure to create a specimen catalog, you add a specimen identifier in the search query. Okay. Now that I have added search result columns, let's proceed with the item details query. This is an internal query used for necessarily request managers to show them what specimens researcher has requested. And this is also useful for a CSV generation in the email notifications. So logged in users do get an email along with a CSV which contains the specimens that they have requested for. So I'll be selecting the same query again here. You can select a different query based on the requirement, but ensure that this query will have a specimen identifier mandatory, or else the distribution will not be occur smoothly. It will throw, a system will throw error that the specimen identifier is missing while distributing samples. So ensure that you add a specimen identifier in the item details query. Now we saw configuring default columns. Let's go to the request form. Okay, request form is the form that will appear at the end of the request submission to the researchers, where they can fill in their email address, IRB ID, the details where to ship specimens, if they have a certain request, if they have any document. These all details are filled in this request form. So I have already created a request form. Okay, again this form is configured via the forms tab. So if you can see, this is the form card. You can just create a simply new form. This is the already created form I'm using. So let me navigate. So this is the form, request form. Here you will be able to see there are fields like project title, description, shipping details, and rest of it. So this will be the displayed on the request submission form. And that is about the request form. Now let's see the request manager details. Request manager will be who will be having access to the catalog, and he or she can distribute samples further but after approving the request, or if biobank is rejecting a request, they can reject it, and they can add or remove different samples in the request. You can refer to request manager view on the public and on specimen catalog view video for that. So I'll add the request manager here, request manager. Okay. So that's about the request manager. Show items. So as the name suggests, when you hit the catalog URL, either you see the samples up ahead in the result view if you select the on load. If you select when filters are selected, the specimens won't be displayed, but when you start selecting the filters, the specimens will start filtering out and showing on the catalog result view. We'll talk about this more further in the video. So this was about the show items, and let's see public versus private catalog. So if you remember at the start of the video, I mentioned that Open Specimen support both private and public catalogs. So to configure that, the field which is required, requires login. So if you select it as a yes, the catalog will be defined as a private. Only Open Specimen users will have access to this catalog. If you define it as a no, then any user who has a catalog URL, then they can access this catalog and put the request. So if you notice, if I select yes, the other field gets activated, which is user group. This user group feels nothing but the access to this specific catalog. So here you can select different user groups where let's say this is the Emery one. So it has a 3-4 users. Only those users will have access to this catalog, and others users will not be able to access this catalog. Even if they are Open Specimen users and they are not added to this user group, they will not be able to access this catalog. As of now, we'll keep it as a public. Last up two is show app buttons and help URL. Show app buttons is hides buttons of the sign in and sign on the top of the page to avoid the clutters on the page. And help URL, here you can specify any wiki page URL or a SharePoint which will guide the researchers how to use a catalog or specifically how to submit any request. Once you are ready with all the details, you can hit the create and this catalog will get created. I have already created a catalog. Let me just open that. So this is the specimen based catalog. So now you can see all the details that are showed so far. Again, I have here the same details. I have provided already the help URL. Okay. Now let's just see on the overview page. After putting all of the details, you can see the catalog URL gets activated over here. This catalog URL, you can share it with researchers or public by just selecting it and using the keyboard options Control C to copy it and then share it with researchers. You can access the catalog by copy pasting this URL or by just hitting the view catalog option. So once you hit the view catalog, this is the page of the dashboard which appears. As I mentioned, if you select the dashboard option in the display, the dashboard will be displayed or else it won't be displayed. Again, on here on the right hand side, you see two options, help button and the view catalog. Help button is nothing but the page URL that you have configured in the overview page, in the edit page over here. And view catalog is that we'll be using to navigate to the catalog. Now let's go to the view catalog and see what all the fields on the catalog result view that we see. You can see there is a filters. You can see on load the specimens are here. I do not need to select a specific filter to show these samples. They are already displayed because we selected the on load option. I can see the sign on options and the dashboard option over here. So these are a couple of options on the catalog overview page. Now there are a couple of more features on the catalog result view, that is view more details. Okay. Now here you can see view details is the eye icon. If you click on this option, you will get a pop-up which is displayed like this. You can see there are different fields here. So as I mentioned, the result view to avoid the result view to get crowded, you can add field details like extra field details in the view details. So if I click on the view details, I can see there are multiple fields like marital status, clinical status, which are not added in the default columns. And this is again same configurable via search query. You can add this fields in the search query and this will be displayed over here automatically. Okay, you can add it to the cart using this option as well, or you can go back and just select the sample and add it to the cart. This is the view details. Next up is view okay, before going to the view request, I would like to show one more option, that is columns. Okay, so here in the columns, as you see, there are not all the columns displayed on this overview page. And if I want to add the vital status, race and ethnicity, because I want to check what are the details. Okay, so once I add this and if I scroll to the right, you can see the details of the vital status, race and ethnicity is displayed for each specimen. So again, this column feature is configurable based on the search query. If you see, these are the default columns that I have already added in the search query. So these are shown over here. So lastly, we'll see view request. Let's go back. So on the overview page, you can see the view request. Researchers can view their own request if they are logged in users, and request manager can see all the requests put by any researcher. So once I hit the view request, I can see there are a lot of requests. Some are pending, some are approved, some are in closed status because they are already approved and distributed. So let's go into one of the approved requests over here. Okay, once you see on this page, I can see different options like edit option and reset to pending or close the request. On the specimens tab over here, you can start the distribution. You can either use distribution or distribute all to distribute all samples, or you can select a specific sample and use the distribute option to distribute the samples further. So this is how the view request page looks like.